Escape poverty in just 10 minutes. Who wouldn't want to click on that? We're diving into this Italian YouTuber, Luca Valori, and his bold promise. He's got this whole entrepreneurial personal growth thing going on. And honestly, some of it's really resonating.
It's wild how he frames this whole reinvention thing. It's not just like new clothes, new you. He's talking like completely changing your beliefs, how you react to things, just your whole approach.
It's like he put personal development on fast forward. Makes you wonder, can you really undo years of habits and thought patterns in just 10 minutes?
Right. That's the big question, isn't it? Like, does change happen slowly or can it be this radical overnight thing? Valor is definitely in that second camp, it seems.
And he connects it to this whole entrepreneurial ideology thing. Like it's his, I don't know, secret recipe for success.
It is interesting, though, because what he's saying, it's not exactly, brand new. It's all about personal responsibility, being positive, finding solutions. That stuff, it's pretty universal, right? Across different cultures, philosophies even.
Yeah. But the way he puts it, it feels, I don't know, fresher, especially for a younger audience, maybe. It's that whole stop complaining, work hard, achieve anything kind of vibe.
It does tap into that desire for control, you
Yeah.
know? But then it makes you think, is success all about how much effort you put in? Or is there more to it? Like, what about the stuff we can't control?
See, but then he gets really specific about this one thing. It's something I've actually been trying, the whole dopamine detox thing. He's all about cutting out those instant gratification things.
Hmm.
Social media, junk food, the works.
Yeah, it's like he's tapping into this growing awareness of how dopamine really works,
Yeah.
right? It's not just about like feeling good in the moment. It's tied into motivation, reward systems, all that. So when he talks about reducing those quick dopamine hits, it's almost like he's pushing for delayed gratification instead.
Which, let's be real, is way harder than it sounds. He even says to give up music, movies, like everything. That's intense.
It does make you wonder, is he saying we should just live with zero pleasure? Or is there a middle ground? Maybe it's less about cutting things out completely and more about being, I don't know, more aware of our habits with them.
He does give alternatives, though. Like instead of scrolling on your phone, go to the gym, work on a project.
Right, exactly. He wants us to find that, I don't know, fulfillment, but in things that take effort. It actually lines up with some of that positive psychology stuff, the importance of having meaningful goals and going after them.
So it's not just about consuming, it's about creating.
Yeah.
And that sort of leads into his whole thing about mentorship, right? Find someone who's already done what you want to do and learn from them.
And that's another thing that just, it applies everywhere. Having a mentor, someone to give advice, help you avoid mistakes, it's so valuable.
He's really big on finding those who've walked the walk, not just talked about it.
Yeah.
But then he gets into his own recipe for financial freedom. And it's pretty interesting. So he's all about this ecosystem, but it seems like his whole recipe boils down to real estate and e-commerce.
Yeah, and that's where things get kind of interesting, right? Because how realistic is this for everyone listening?
Right. He makes it sound so easy, like find a problem, solve it, bam, you're financially free. But is it really that simple? Not everyone can just, jump into real estate or whatever.
Exactly. Like take his real estate thing. He's big on those short-term rentals,
Yeah.
even managing properties for other people. That's not something everyone can just DO, right? You need to know what you're doing. Plus there's all the legal stuff, the market ups and downs.
There's a lot he kind of skips over, like how to actually be a property manager, the money you need to even start. It's not as easy as he makes it out to be.
It's like he's giving us the Spark Notes version, Like helpful to get started, but you wouldn't want to invest based on just that.
Totally. And even his e-commerce stuff, it's a little vague. Like, he mentions his students, how well they're doing, but what are they even selling? How they stand out online with so much competition.
And that's huge nowadays because e-commerce changes so fast. What worked a few years ago might not work now. You got to be, on top of trends, willing to put in the work, all that.
Yeah, it's great to learn from people who've made it, but their path, it's not a guarantee for everyone else.
It all comes back to thinking for yourself, right? It's awesome to be inspired by Valori's story, but you got to look at the advice through your own WN lens. What are your resources, your risk tolerance? What do you actually want long term?
So the escape poverty thing, it's catchy, and yeah, he's clearly successful, but you got to read between the lines a bit. It's not as
Okay.
simple as copying someone else and expecting the same results.
Exactly. You can't just copy paste your life. And this is where his whole call to action thing comes in, right? He points people to his Telegram channel for more, like learning and advice.
Classic influencer move.
Yeah.
But, it makes sense. People want guidance, maybe a community, that little push to actually do something.
Totally. And to be fair, he does talk about personal responsibility a lot. It's on you to take charge, put in the work, learn as you go.
Yeah, the whole continuous learning thing.
Yeah.
Always be adapting, improving your strategy, all that.
Which is actually pretty solid advice no matter what you're doing. Things change fast, right? Being open to learning new things, that's only going to help.
Okay, but there's this one thing I keep coming back to. Can you really escape the system just by changing your mindset? It feels like he's kind of ignoring some bigger issues, you know?
Right, that's the million-dollar question. He's all about what you can do, but what about the stuff you can't control? The systems in place, the inequality, it's a whole other conversation.
It's like he's saying, if you just work hard enough, follow his plan, boom, you're set. But what about the stuff that's out of your control? Like, I don't know, not everyone has the same opportunities, right?
Yeah, it's complicated, and those things matter. His whole message about, improving yourself, it's good, but it's not the whole story, right?
So it's not just about changing your mindset. It's about dealing with a system that honestly isn't fair to everyone.
Right. And that's why it's so important to really think about this kind of stuff. Take what's helpful, leave what's not, and always, always do your own WN research.
He makes some good points, but it's like he's showing us this amazing painting, but only through a tiny window. You see the pretty part, but you miss the whole picture.
And that bigger picture, super important. It's not about saying he's totally wrong. It's about understanding the full situation. There's more than one way to be successful,
Okay, so where does that leave us? For our listeners out there, what are the big takeaways, whether it's about money or just life in general?
Balance. I think that's key. We talked about mindset, changing habits, finding mentors. That's all important.
Right, like the dopamine detox, finding someone who knows their stuff. Those are good tools.
For sure.
Yeah.
But we also got to remember that there are things outside our control. Systems, the way things are set up, even history. It all affects our chances.
So take charge of what you can, but also be real about the fact that it's not a level playing field for everyone.
Exactly. Be ambitious, work hard, but don't beat yourself up if it's not easy,
It's about finding your path, what works for you, what success means to you.
100%. What really clicked for you from what Valori said? What did you disagree with? Those are the questions to keep asking yourself as you move forward.
This whole deep dive, it wasn't just about one guy's ideas. It was about getting you thinking.
Figuring out what success looks like for you and going after it in a way that makes sense.
Well said. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. This whole journey, it never really ends, right?
Nope. Keep learning, keep questioning, and keep working towards your own WN version of success.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep diving deep and chase those dreams.